I'd now like to invite up onto stage Galia Jordanova. Galia is the CEO of Gaida in Bulgaria, and she's going to talk about how to pivot from a marketplace to a mortgage business, which I love to see how you've done this.
Thank you. It's going to be a dramatic story, I promise. Happy to be here. I don't see many familiar faces, but for those of you who I haven't still spoken to and I wish to, for the last 5 years, I was leading a software company. We've built 3 products, AI digital assistant for agents, who was handling cold leads. Then we built a portal, so it was kind of a first pivot. And then we went into the mortgage business with a mortgage platform, which we exited, and now I'm part of the ownership of the buyer. But this here is not about properties. This is a very ugly picture of gallstones. These are my gallstones. For those of you who have never experienced any medical condition related to that, it's a very silent thing that's developing in your body. Obviously, you don't need AI to know it's bad. It's a formation. It can become quite big. It can't be treated. It can't be broken. It can't be healed. When the attack starts, you feel so much pain for so long time that you can't breathe, you can't speak, you can't stand. You feel like dying, and you are going to die if you don't go to the hospital. So at the beginning of 2021, this is what happened to me. I had this expedite in my life, and I was brought to hospital with emergency, which is weird because I was just closing a very good year. I just got my first round of funding 2 weeks ago. The product was doing well. We have built this amazing portal, and it's amazing because it's a small market, very, very young one, but very undeveloped, obviously. But the biggest rival there was a newspaper that turned into a digital website 20 years ago. So nothing was yet built. We felt like we can kill it for months, you know. And I'm very proud to show you, we started on mobile, our portal, because we wanted to own the estate of our user, of our buyer, and we did. Basically, even today, 5 years later, after the website is not working for more than 6 months, I'm still receiving requests for viewings from the application. Then we moved to website because we saw that it's expensive to convert people to the app. Of course, we first addressed the biggest problem, how to get the whole inventory on our platform. And we did it with technical tools. We created this very sophisticated ETL where you can have all the properties before you actually onboard the agent, which meant that if you have a CRM as an agency, we're going to integrate with you. If you want to send us exports anytime, like daily. And if you want, we can scrape you. We're going to scrape you from any place on the market that you show us. So it was working. We were having more than 90% of the whole inventory in the first months of our product. More than that, because most of the properties do not have location in my country, that's the way the agents protect their listing, we actually calculated where these listings would be. So we placed them on map, and then allowed the users to search by drawing on this map. We also, sorry for the Bulgarian, obviously a very local product, so I'm just giving you the context of what you're seeing, but because the agents would be, one listing could be presented by several agents, we actually had to duplicate the supply. So now a buyer would know that that property is also presented by 7, 8 other agents. They hated that. They hated it because obviously the beautiful pictures of one agency would be used from the buyer to go and call the agent with the lowest price. So lots of these features were actually difficult to implement, but also difficult to convince the market that they needed. Of course, we did all kinds of funky things that we knew are going to be useful, like pricing insight, history of the price, because usually what the agents will do, they will take off the listing and they'll publish it again somewhere else. So it will appear as a new listing. It will just shortcut the queue, and then you have it advertised again and again. So we showed that it's happening. They also hated that. And we also started to generate data. So we thought of ourselves as the data place. If a property is to be shown on the market, we would have it. We would have all the data possible, and we would ask the people if they went and viewed it, what did they saw? Was it on the same location that we thought? Was it okay with the documents? Was there any type of incorrect information from the agent and stuff like that? We also started adding adjacencies, adjacent services to test them. Things like renovation, mortgages, insurance, moving services. So we were pretty much in the action of building this product towards success. As I told you, we also closed the round, and it wasn't a big round. I mean, it was something that would just give us a runway for 12 more months. But the money was coming from quite significant people on my market, people who are influential with their opinion, technical people, business people. So it was really giving us the confidence. And the adjacencies were giving some results I'm going to talk about in a bit. So why on earth was I in hospital with gallstones? And we as co-founders are very good, I believe we should be very good, in telling stories. So we convince the world how successful we are. We convince ourselves as well, so we need to believe these stories. And this photo, I love it because it's from Disneyland. We went there with my family a couple of weeks ago, and of course, when somebody asks me, we were having amazing time there. But what you can see from the faces is that most of the time, it was actually quite scary. And knowing how much money I was burning, I didn't really enjoy the Disneyland experience. So at this moment, what I thought is that the expedite that's happening in my life, it wasn't avoidable. I mean, this medical condition I can't control. But the same expedite was happening in my business. And if you are to be honest, I mean, amazing presentations, amazing successes, very, very inspirational things I've learned the last 3 days. And I've done such presentations as well, but everybody is carrying some stones. And in my case, it was very obvious what's not working. I had a product, but I didn't really have a business because my portal was not generating revenues. I have talent. We had 10 engineers out of 11 people, so I was the only non-engineer in the team. But we didn't have a team, actually, so we were quite dysfunctional, I mean, the way we were arguing was not really constructive. And we have a lot of functionalities. We felt like a kid in a candy store, but we weren't solving a problem. And to prove you that, I'll just give you a story of my customers, because they were my customers, trying to reach agents for viewings intensively, and then not receiving any response from the agent. So I was asking the agent, what's happening? Why wouldn't you surf? I know we're in a buyer's market. I know it's after COVID. I know everything's booming, but why wouldn't you get this super high-quality customer and take them for a viewing? And the agent would say, we are just checking our emails on Wednesday. I mean, on Wednesday, so this customer needs to be very lucky to request a viewing on Tuesday evening, so that's the only way they're going to react quickly. On top of that, I was already having investors, and they were pushing me on a timeline, right? They wanted me to invest, to open a second market, to grow internationally, and I wasn't even stable in the first one. So it was an expedite that I decided that I'm going to provoke. And that was the only thing that I was controlling, because obviously these problems, they would not just disappear or vanish. They would come and bite me in the ass. So the only way for me to proceed was to pivot or close the company. Here the adjacencies experience comes because what we saw immediately in the first month after launching we just launched several landing pages, right? So mortgages was one of them. And the hypothesis here was that we can actually attract people to request big amounts of money on the portal. And what we saw is that people were actually applying for mortgages, and we had more than 700-800 applications in the first month. So that wasn't expected. I was having several partners, so what I imagined is that I'm going to just take these leads, send them to the mortgage consultants, get paid, and move on. But it didn't happen like that. These mortgage businesses, they were the old-fashioned constructions of people which were used to converting 95% of their customers. So now I'm sending them hundreds of people. Most of them are not really ready. They're too ugly, just checking. Imagine it's just a comparison site. So I was breaking their process completely. Some of them just didn't want to continue working. Some of them would just burn out. So I needed some time to adjust here. But I saw that there is interest, and definitely there was money. I decided to part ways with my co-founder, the technical guy in my team, who actually was behind most of the features that we built. So that was unlucky for me, because with him, part of the engineers went. That made me quite vulnerable on my next moves, because now I had this platform which is so difficult to maintain. And by the way, it was written in Go, so good luck finding Go engineers in Bulgaria. So nevertheless, I thought that if I'm to move on, I need to move on my terms. And what I decided also was that I'm going to provide an end-to-end service. So no more, I'm busy, I can't pick up my phone, I don't check my email, I don't care about that. So I continued searching for a partner until I found a company that's ready to dedicate their people to my leads, and we are going to figure it out together. And that's how my second platform was born. Muskitari BG in English is musketeers, so we believed we are saving people from the big bad banks. The platform started in April 2021, and till now it's already quite recognizable in the market. So in the first year, it was among the top 10 players in the market. And after the acquisition, we are number 2. Our biggest challenges were 3. The first one would be how to leverage digital. So nobody in my market was generating leads from digital. Everybody was counting on agents. And the bad thing with agents is that they're quite money-oriented, let's say. So if somebody is offering 0.1% more, they're going to leave you, which makes you quite dependent. So we thought that we are going to push on the digital channel, and with all the data and all the trust we have developed with the platform, we are actually going to create a good pipeline of customers. What we also did was we automated the busy work, so no AI here. Obviously, I didn't have the people for the AI, but also I didn't have the internal belief that it's needed. So what we did is we took all the communication between the consultants and the banks, and we automate that. So we'll be sending templates to the banks, they'll be filling in, they'll be getting back to us. So our team of 15 people would now be only dealing with humans. And what we achieved by that is that a guy in our team would be having 5 times bigger volumes in terms of client relationships and closed deals compared to somebody in another company. And of course, we had to rewrite the whole process, because we couldn't afford to have hundreds of people coming and manually being served by somebody in our team. It's just impossible. So we created several filters, which would be technical, but also human filters, which would call people and get more information and take the edge cases on the site and create paths and different funnels for the different cases. Some numbers, because they're always due in such a place. We are able to onboard a consultant quite fast, actually 9 times faster, because usually in my industry, in my geography, it would be taking 18 months to get somebody from the street and make them a consultant that's working with clients independently. We do that in 2 months now, repeatedly. We have 7% conversion rate from the registered users, which I believe is quite good, and I believe we can increase that, even though some of the deals are obviously taking a lot of time, more than 8 months, due to inventory problems. And our leads are cheaper compared to the fees we pay to agents. Nevertheless, we do believe that agents are part of the whole equation, so we are trying to establish our brand as a partner to the agents, which is a completely different strategy from the one I was having with the portal. because I do believe that at this market, you definitely need to have alliances more than enemies. But still, the biggest thing that made the whole difference for me with my latest product was the partner. And here I want to quote, it's not a quote, but an example from one book which I really recommend if you haven't read. It's an old one. It's called Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. So Chris Voss is he's an FBI negotiator. So he's giving a very good definition of people who commit or agree with you and basically partner with you. And he's differentiating 3 different types. So the first one would be somebody who just want to get rid of you. They would say yes, but they would never actually cooperate. And these would be some agents on my way that I met. They were kind of passionate, wanted to work together, but never did. The second type would be somebody who would commit to work with you, but just to prove you wrong. And I think that's the worst possible scenario, because you have somebody on your team, but actually they sabotage you on the way. And the third one, obviously, is a partner. So this is my grateful slide, because I do realize I was lucky to have partners throughout the whole way, starting from my husband and going through the people that allowed me to land the plane when I was most vulnerable with the switch between the 2 platforms. But also the company that bought us actually was what I saw and what I received there. Obviously, you can build it, but in my case, the relationships with the banks were something that would have taken a lot of time. So these guys allowed me to actually work with them through every problem that we were facing. And that made the difference. So if I am today to leave something as food for thought, AI is amazing, and I'm sure you're gonna use it, and your platforms are gonna be really good and innovative, but I believe that the fundamentals cannot be replaced. So if you're carrying stones, offload it on your terms, and if you're having people around you that don't really belong to your team or to the core of your leadership, deal with that now. 3 minutes early, sorry.
Galia, you stay on that side. I'll come over here. Thank you for that. We've got some questions which I think are important.
Is it about tennis? No? Okay.
No.
I was sure it's going to be about tennis.
Okay. Do you take commissions from banks?
Yeah, full commission. We're having the highest possible, what's it called, baseline and bonus. So yeah, that's how we get paid. And we get paid immediately, which is amazing, because now we are at the deal compared to the portal.
Okay. How do you identify the locations to put the properties on the map?
This was a technical solution, so I don't know how. Basically, we are using different attributes of the listing. So it would be things like if there is a word mentioned about street or anything that's in the vicinity, and then how the building will be looking if there is an entry of the building outside facade. So they will be comparing these to a database of pictures.
Okay. So,
And we will be then moving. So basically, we never gave the exact location for obvious reasons, because the agents would just kill us. But we were moving that location in a radius. And then we were asking the people going for a viewing to confirm that it's actually in that area.
Okay.
So 100 meters.
Funny story on that. Casa in Italy used to do the same thing, but with not as sophisticated technology. Great idea.
Are they alive, though?
Sorry?
Are they alive now?
Yeah.
And we're not, right?
Okay.
You see the difference? It's
But
not about the technology.
But the funny thing was, it worked wonderfully well until you got to Venice. Okay?
Yeah.
So because they couldn't put it exactly in the right location, you ended up having all these properties in the middle of the canals. So there's some things. And take care of yourself, it says at the top. We'll take that one as given. Please do that.
Do I look like suffering? Thank you.
No. Okay. Any plans to bring back the Enotti portal in the future?
It's down for obvious reasons. I can't find. Yeah, please, like this. It's not there anymore. But the QR code. Please contact me if you have any ideas what to do with it, because I still own a portal, and there are not many people in Bulgaria that own a portal. So I feel famous and precious and important, but I have no idea how to make it usable. Besides just social work, it stays there. People request viewings, and nothing happens. So, yeah, it can be on immediately.
Okay. What approach did you use for deduplication of listings?
ML. ML, pictures only.
Okay. That was a pretty direct to the point. What happened with the property? Oh no, you've already talked about that one. And I think we're sort of done. So thank you very much
Thank you.
for sharing the
Wasn't
experience.
that...
And good luck
Thank you.
in the future. Excellent.